we went to see the new Blade Runner the other day and really enjoyed it. But since then, we've seen lots of news stories and posts on Facebook and other social media about, how it's a flop, and suddenly after that there's lots of reviews coming out that don't like it, which is fine, but some of the reasons behind that seem a bit suspect. The fact that people are saying it's a flop just because it hasn't quite made as much money as they wanted it to, it's not like it's not going to make that money back. We don't want people to be put off from seeing it just because of that, because it is good. Yes, it's long, but there's plenty of summer blockbusters that, at least 2.5 hours long that don't need to be. I didn't feel Blade Runner really felt like the runtime that it has. It didn't, it moves along at a good pace. Whereas the original, to me, actually does feel slower paced and therefore feels maybe just as long as the new one, even though it's 45 minutes shorter. But yeah, you're not a massive fan of the original, are you?
No, I'm not, I don't dislike the original at all. It's one of those films that I always thought I probably should like. I've seen it 3 times, have it on Blu-ray, I've got it on DVD, I even had it on video.
You must love it then.
It's got everything in it, everything inside of Blade Runner I should like. It's Ridley Scott, I love Alien, Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is basically the modern day Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
He's got all the best lines in Indiana Jones and Star Wars. He made some awesome films in the 80s, like, Witness and Frantic and Mosquito Coast, lots of great films, great actor. So it's got him in there, it's got an amazing soundtrack. Visually, it looks really impressive. It's about memories, which is like the quintessential memory film, which is what great cinema is all about. Everything in Blade Runner, I should like.
Just
for
doesn't
some
do it for
reason,
you.
it just doesn't do it for me. I glaze over every time I watch it.
Well, like I say, it is quite slow in parts. And,
but then I quite like slow films as well. I think possibly there's some kind of... I'm missing some kind of connection with the film. I'm not sure what that is. I tend to quite like having a relationship with the films I watch, and for that one, it just seems to be missing that. However, I did really like the new one. I thought it was, I was interested to see it. Obviously, the director, Denis
Villeneuve,
is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
I really like his work. I think he's a really interesting new film.
Yeah, definitely.
Not new. He's been around since the beginning of the 2000s.
But he's had a good run recently, hasn't he?
Sicario and Arrival and Enemy. One of his early films called Maelstrom, which is really worth checking out. It's a really good film. Yeah, I think he's a really interesting filmmaker. And when I heard he was attached to it, I thought, okay, I'll give that a go. Not the biggest Blade Runner fan in the world, but yeah. And we went at the weekend, and I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's a masterpiece, but I think visually he gets it. Sound-wise he gets it. It's got an incredible score. No, I think it's really worth seeing. And I definitely think it's worth seeing in the cinema.
Oh yeah,
I certainly didn't see the original Blade Runner in the cinema.
No, I didn't.
Too young.
Yeah.
So if you're going to see it, check it out. Go to the cinema. Put those box office ratings up. And
even the 3D didn't put you off, did it?
No, and that's the other thing, because I'm not a 3D fan, and it didn't... there was nothing in there that was kind of...
It wasn't popping out or anything.
No, it was just it gave it depth.
Exactly. Personally, with you've got big cityscapes and things like that. For me, that's the kind of thing that works with 3D.
But if they use it correctly and they just give it depth, which I think is what you can do with 3D.
But if you're not a fan, I don't think you're not going to miss out on anything if you don't watch it in 3D. I think some films...
although I would say I'm not a fan of 3D, and I think watch it in 3D. It just gives it, brings you into that little bit more. I haven't read many of the reviews that have been saying bad things about it. I did see one. There's one going around, I think, at the moment that's suggesting the film's misogynistic, which I don't. I can see where they're coming from. There are obviously, the women are pretty much only prostitutes, or there's the hologram housewife, or the butt kicking femme fatale character. But I think to call the film misogynistic is to maybe not really understand the world of Blade Runner. Blade Runner is not our Earth.
No.
It's a dystopian world that we don't want to be a part of. We don't want to live in that world.
No.
Which is why cinema gives us these things. So I think to call it misogynistic is a little bit...
a bit unfair, maybe.
A little bit unfair,
particularly as, Denis Villeneuve's last 2 films have had quite strong female leads.
Exactly.
So it's not like that, he's not
at all
coming from that aspect at all. So I think the way he's done it fits in with the Blade Runner universe.
If you look at any dystopian type film, they all suggest these kind of communist states where
it's not supposed to be a happy place.
It's not supposed to be a happy place, and these are worlds that we are ourselves trying to get away from.
What surprised me was that the amount of stories that I've seen on Facebook and Twitter and that say posting links to reviews that aren't favourable, which is fine. Not everything can be, and also going on the endless posts about it, how it's a flop, and just like give it a chance. It's only been out a few days.
When did it come out? Was it last Friday?
It was last Friday.
It's literally only been out for a couple of days.
It's like because it didn't do as well as they hoped over the weekend. That's it, flop.
And I
guess that's how they measure these things. But
I thought a flop would be at least a month, a few weeks.
Well, I guess
3 days. People are working. People don't have time to go to the cinema.
Quite.
You've got to get out of work.
I mean, I think the peak obviously is the first weekend. That's why they base it on that. And if it doesn't, but I think surely word of mouth, these things can pick up. I don't know, but. And I guess it's all compared to the budget, which I think was $150 million, and it made I think $31 million in the first weekend, which is low compared to some other films. But again, it is longer, so they say, they can't fit in as many showings in the cinemas, which I don't really buy that because, like we said, there's plenty of summer blockbusters now that come in at like 2.5 hours. Or near or thereabouts. So
no, and here's the thing. Here's what I'd like to say about it. It shouldn't be about the money. It should be about the actual film. Exactly. If you're concerned about the money, if you start getting concerned about the money, stop going to the cinema. just get back to work because it shouldn't. It's about the art form. It's about whether it's a good film, not about how much money it's making.
But that's our 2 cents.
It is, and how was that?
Yeah.
So sorry, that was crap ending. Just say it was our 2 cents.
It was our 2 cents, or maybe a few more cents than 2. I don't
yes,
know.
It was. Yeah. So we just wanted to give our thought on the current situation, and I think we've done that.
Yeah.
Soundly.
So
and, that's it.
Yeah. The next video will return to normal programming.
Yeah, which is as being October, we're going back to the old horror films. So we shall see you for that one.
Yeah. Bye.